Hey, what's up? Shag Dog here, Shag Zen. Spitter Swallow Beer Review. Drinking some Lucky Buddha. The full title of the name is um, Lucky Buddha Enlightened Beer. It's brewed by the Lucky Drink Company, which is out of Walker Street, Bedford, Sydney, Australia, but it's brewed in Qiandaohu Beer Company in China. So collaboration with them, I guess. It's considered Japanese rice lager, 4.8% ABV. I haven't had this in many years. I think I did it once. Jammer brought it to the beer review. I think probably our first or second year doing beer reviews. That's the last time we did it. So let's try it. Yeah, I got the lucky. And in case you can't see that bottle, green screen going crazy too. But it's a bottle shape on the front part. It's like a Buddha. His head's here. You probably can't see with that green screen stuff, but that's okay. If I put it in a green spot, anyhow, maybe if I put it over here, and you can't tell. All right, let's get it. I'm gonna guess it's gonna taste bad, but you never know. There's a cat for you. Cat pervs. It zooms in there. Yeah, there we go. Let's get it. Sounds thirsty. I'm hoping a green bottle, the green bottle fiasco, right? Put that little Lucky Buddha bottle right there, though. And I can smell a little bit of skunk coming off it. It's a green bottle, and they say skunk is basically the hops spoiling. So green bottle, light getting in, and then of course warm temperatures, cold temperatures, up and down. Slightly skunky, not really bad. Light hop on it. Japanese rice lager, if that's truly what it is, it should be all right. I'm not sure why my screen was messed up there for a second. All right, yeah. So Shag Dog, Spitter Swallow Beer Review. Thanks for subscribing, commenting. Make sure you hit that like button. It helps with the algorithm, believe it or not. Videos that I see, we get 1 or 2 like buttons. They almost double the views, So now whether those people watch the whole video, that's a different question. But hey, stay to the end because we got plenty of witticism, jokes, and actual life answers to life after we get done with the beer usually. So, which most people drink a couple beers, they usually have all the answers to life. So don't leave. Cheers. Well, not great. A slight cardboard taste. If you ever had like a red stripe, a little bit different than red stripe, but it does have a slight little bit of that red stripe cardboard taste. Very light though. It does leave a nice foamy feeling in the mouth. Not real heavy, but a light foamy feeling in the mouth on the aftertaste. Still lingering a little bit on the tongue. Really easy to drink. Not the best beer in the world, but not real off-putting or anything. It tastes like a cheap lager, but I mean, not real cheap. I've had worse, adjunct lagers. Now they say on Beer Advocate this is a rice lager, Japanese rice lager. Not the best rice lager I've had, but not bad. Which rice is adjunct, so. But I think that Japanese rice lager is like a dry style of a beer. I wish before we get any further into this beer, I was thinking about during the Super Bowl, man, I should be marketed. If I worked for Anheuser-Busch, I'd be bringing out every old beer that Bud had, Bud Dry. I don't think Bud had a Bud Dark when the dark craze was happening for about 6 months in the late 80s. Michelob Dark. They did have Michelob Dark. I'd bring Michelob Dark into the Bud Bowl. Michelob Dark, because that is part of Anheuser-Busch, right? Michelob Dark. I bring the Pony Boy back. The Fridge, might as well bring him back, right? Whatever the hell he was that a 40-ounce bottle? I don't even know what it was. I'd bring Bud Dry back. Revenge on Bud Ice, because really Bud Dry was big. I mean, not real big, but it was the thing at the time. And then when Bud Ice came out, 92, 93, dry beer just, even though I saw that they were still making it and putting it in some areas up until like 2006, 2008, something like that. I never saw Bud Dry after 1990. Well, I left for stationed overseas in 93, so I didn't see it those 2 years, of course. And then when I came back, I never saw it. So I haven't seen Bud Dry since 1993, probably. Or 92, I can't remember. But yeah, back to this. Yeah, so they should, man, you could make a great, especially with today's technology and computer graphics, man, you could make a great Bud Bowl and bring back all the old Budweiser heroes. Have that Delaney girl or whatever her name is, have her on the field too, Matt. Have her get racked up by the big 40-ounce fullback or whatever hell it was, 32-ounce or whatever it was, kind of supposed to be like the Fridge or whatever. Run over her. She could be on the Bud Light team. He, she, they, them. Yeah. So not bad. I mean, what would I give this? God, Australian, but made in China, right? I've had worse Asian beers. I've had worse Australian beers, right? Would I compare this to a Foster? Maybe similar, a little bit. I don't know. Easier to drink than a Foster, I think. It's basically like most like Euro lagers, or it's a slight skunk in there, a slight, very, very slight floral grassiness, but it's refreshing, I think. It's got a slightly bad taste, but then again, it's refreshingly good. This would be like a Chinese lawnmower beer. I don't know what brand of lawnmowers they have in China. I don't even know if they have John Deere's in China, or what some other American brands. What are the best mowers in America? All right. I don't know if these are American though. Let's do gas powered. What are the best gas powered lawnmowers? 10 best lawnmowers, 2025. Okay, let's go. Honda, Japanese, right? Murray. What American companies make lawnmowers? John Deere, Toro, Cub Cadet, Husqvarna. Honda's not American, but maybe they have an American plant or something that they make it at. Anyhow, John Deere's got to be the biggest one. You got Snapper, Lawn Boy, Biggs and Stratton, Black and Decker make a lawnmower. I didn't even know that. American lawnmower, Craftsman. I used to have a Craftsman. Ventrac, American Auger, Stihl, like Steel, Stihl, Eagle, Hustler. Hey, Hustler magazine makes a lawnmower. Wow. Trying to make those beavers, right? Mowing the lawn. MTD Holdens and Skag. I'm sure that stands for something nasty. SCAG. Yeah, Skag. Skag Power Equipment. Anyhow, what are the best Chinese lawnmowers? Let's see what we got here. They got a Chinese remote control lawnmower. what lawnmowers are made in China? Well, I'm sure some of the American brands are made in China, but they got Segway, Ultverse, Egglex, Eagle, Lita Garden, Max, Infront, and Santil. Anyhow, you got to mow that lawn when you can. Lawnmower beer. That's what I was getting at. Yeah. A good Chinese lawnmower beer. Chinese Australian. I can't believe there's a lawnmower company called Hustler. Let's see that. Is Hustler lawnmowers made by the same people who own Hustler magazine? I guess they're different. No relation, I guess. Yep, no beaver hunt there. Yeah, Hustler magazine, man, that was one of the best back in my young. I mean, I didn't read it. I didn't look at that kind of stuff, but I heard it was one of the best. Now, a friend of mine, I don't know if it's true or not, said, or somebody said he did, took a picture of his girlfriend or whatever and sent it to Hustler magazine. They broke up, but sent a picture to Hustler magazine, and they published it in the beaver hunt section. I don't know if she ever knew about that, but I think most women today don't even have to worry about their kids finding them online if they're doing like porn or adult entertainment, because there's so much of it out there. I mean, the only way they're going to come across it is if she's doing it while they're a teenager and friends or the teenager himself sees it, because now they might still come across it if she's doing it while they're youngsters and they, 10 years later, they come across it. But I don't know, unless they become famous or have a lot of videos, because there's so much out there nowadays. But now, like some states like South Carolina, Florida, probably some other states, I know Louisiana did it a few years ago, I think. They made it so you can't get on certain porn websites. You got to put in your driver's license information. And some of the companies like Pornhub, etc., PornTube or YouPorn, I think it's called. You got to put they don't even want to deal with that driver's license. They don't want your driver's license information. They just block people from South Carolina, Florida. You can't go to their websites. You get to the part and it'll say, sorry, we're not allowing you to access our site basically because of the new law in South Carolina, Florida, whatever, which is horrible because I can't even go on there now. Wow. Now there is one site I can still get on and don't have to add my stuff, but it's a crappy site compared to the two other ones I used to go to. 3 other ones. There's 3 different ones I used to go to, and they all got it on there. The 3 big ones. I mean, not that I go on there all the time. I just I go for educational purposes. Check out the page layout, the web page layout. See if there's anything we need to change with our YouTube channel. What's trending, stuff like that. Yeah, so good beer. I'm trying to get down. I think I got the sour down quicker than this. Huh? I don't know. Did I grade it? I don't think I did. I'm going to give it a B plus at a swallow. There you go. For a Japanese rice lager. For what it is. It's a good lawnmower Japanese rice lager made by an Australian company in China. It's the Japanese, China, Australian connection. 3 countries. All combining together. Yeah, I didn't even know what that was when I was like 31 years old, which is, God, that was 22 years ago. I had a couple of guys, I was in the academy for a certain thing I was working in, and a couple of the younger guys that were like 19, 20, they're like going like this to each other. I'm I'm like, what's that? A gang sign? And they're like, no, it's the shocker. And I'm like, the shocker? What the hell does that mean? I'm like, oh, is that some superhero thing to shock you? Somebody actually do their fingers with Electro or something, shock Spider-Man like that? I don't know. And they're like, no, the shocker, 2 in the pink and 1 in the stink. And I'm like, oh my God. So that's pretty cool. So then I started doing it all the time. So somebody took a picture. I was going, probably why I don't have too many pictures of me on Facebook from my early 30s. I was giving the shocker sign all the time. I thought it was great. Now, we used to have another sign like that back in the late 80s, early 90s, but I kind of faded out. But that was my own little group sign. Camel toe, basically, is what we had eventually called it. But it was the hook. We called it the hook, but later on, another group of guys I hung out with showed them the symbol, and they called it the camel toe because, camel toe, right? So that was my new group symbol too. Hey, we got the camel toe. The other guys are like, hey, we got the hook. And other guys are, hey, we got the camel toe. Yeah. Cool. Well, I got nothing much to say. Nothing much else to say. Hey, anybody, man, I should do that as a drinking and thinking skit. Saturday Night Live, 50th anniversary, the concert and the actual 50th anniversary show and the concert at Radio Music City Hall. It wasn't too bad. I gotta say, probably Eddie Vedder was my favorite. I mean, I was a Pearl Jam fan, so probably the reason why. Even though he was playing with the Roots, but the Roots did a great job with those songs, especially with Corduroy. They started playing some other song. And he's like, wait, doing a little acting thing. Wait, no, we're not doing this. And then they started rocking the Corduroy. I was like, all right, playing a good song there. Which I think Corduroy, was that off Versus or Vitalogy? I can't remember. Let's Google it. What album was Pearl Jam's song Corduroy on? Vitalogy. Yeah. I like those albums, Vitalogy Versus, and even not No Cold, but Yield. Yield was probably one of my favorite Pearl Jam albums, actually. I'd say Yield and Vitalogy kind of close together. And then 10 and Verses were kind of neck and neck. That was going on. So I decided to quit. Okay. Oh, someone sent me a message. Okay. I was just hoping. They don't go bankrupt anytime soon. Everything has. Oh, the only thing I hate about Eddie Vedder doing that song. Let me check the lyrics just to confirm. I think he changed the lyrics, being politically correct. Damn liberals. But watch, let me check the lyrics first before I say it. Lyrics, Corduroy, Pearl Jam. I'm gonna have to re-say that because I was like, all right, let's see if I get that part. It's like on the bridge. Yeah. Part of the song, I don't even know if he actually said that. Everything has chains, but it sounded like he said change. Everything has changed. I always thought it was changed myself, anyhow. Everything has changed, and then the actual lyrics are absolutely nothing's changed. But when he sang it there on a Saturday Night Live concert thing, everything has changed or changed. Absolutely everything's changed. instead of saying nothing's changed. Just being politically correct, changing lyrics to your own song just to fit your narrative. That's different than it was in 1993 or 94 or whatever. Sing the original lyrics. And that was actually one of my favorite part of the song is the bridge. I always thought it was change though. That first part, everything has chains, like slave, I guess. But I thought it was everything has changed. Absolute being contradicted now. Absolutely nothing's changed. Take my hand, not my picture. Spill my tincture. Yeah. I don't wanna take what you can give. I would rather starve than eat your breast. At the things that others want for me. Can't buy what I want because it's free. Really good song. I love that song, Corduroy. I was more of a hair metal. That's what we called it back in the 80s. Hair band. We called it glam metal, or some people would call it candy pop metal or something like that, or pop metal. The hair metal thing started in the late 90s. It was never called hair metal back in the 80s. But yeah, I like Pearl Jam. My favorite bands of the 90s. I was always 80s. Rat was my favorite band. I like Poison, Skid Row, Tesla. Even though some people don't consider Tesla a hair band. Yeah, they were hard rock, but they had hair band tendencies. Poison, Rat, Bon Jovi. I like some of Bon Jovi. Up until Slippery Wet, a little bit of New Jersey, a little bit of Keep the Faith, but Slippery Wet was their peak. Although I did like a lot of songs off New Jersey, actually. A lot of their filler songs I liked. But in the 90s, Pearl Jam, these are my bands in the 90s. Pearl Jam, Seven Mary 3. I like the Gin Blossoms. Even though they only had 2 good albums, but really one really good album. The second one was good. Who else? I like the Goo Goo Dolls up until they got famous. I like the Boy Named Goo, and even the other one where they went full pop culture or whatever. What the hell was the name of the album? What's Goo Goo Dolls' best album? Yeah. Dizzy Up the Girl. That's the one where they went full mainstream pop, all the songs in that one. But I like that one too, but I like A Boy Named Goo a lot better. Especially with the bass guitars having more songs. They're probably my top bands in the 90s. I did like Stone Temple Pilots, Alice in Chains a little bit. Who else? Soundgarden, some of their songs I like they're a hit or miss for me. I might like 3 or 4 songs off each album they had. But Pearl Jam was my favorite grunge band, or whatever you want to call them. Seven Mary 3 kind of started off as a grunge band, their first album, which came out in 90, end of 95, beginning of 96. I can't remember when it came out. Might have been in 95. Yeah, I think it was 95. Then they came out with their next album pretty quick, I think. Summer of the 90s, winter of 96. I can't remember. 97. But then it got kind of a little bit more folksy Yeah, so a lot of people who liked Seven Mary 3 in the first album just because of the grunginess of it was turned off by their second album, and then by their third album, people who really liked the first album, just that style of music, but I followed them through at least their first 5 albums. Yeah, I like Seven Mary 3. Great folk voice the lead singer had. Folk rock, grunge folk. I call it grunge folk. How about that? But that Saturday Night Live, I might do a review of that, but it's too late now. I mean, it's been how many days now? When you do videos for a review or something like that, you got to do it the next day. And you got to take notes right when you're watching it. But I really would say the actual show, the Saturday Night Live, not the concert part where it was 3 hours, but the actual show, it did have some musical stuff in there, but they did a lot of skits. But the opening musical was Paul Simon and what's that girl's name? Who sang the opening song with Paul Simon on Saturday Night Live? Sabrina Carpenter. I don't know who she is. She's pretty. Sounds all right. I mean, not the most beautiful voice in the world, but there's just a little clip right there. I wish I was Homeward Bound, they sang. I'm watching Paul Simon. I was like, God, he's old and he sounds old. But you know what? He's like a very fine old wine, you know? I mean, God, he's old. And he doesn't sing as good as he used to. But he held a steady tempo, wasn't really too far off key. I mean, he sounds like an old man singing, but with a very good tempo, you know? Even Paul McCartney. I think Paul Simon did a better job than Paul McCartney, but Paul McCartney's old when he was on later in the show. But the worst performance of that night was what's her name? Miley Cyrus and that big girl plays a guitar. I think she's Prince or whatever. Big Prince. Very horrible performance. And then they opened during the concert thing too, those two. Miley Cyrus and that lady, and I was like, holy fuck, they suck. That was horrible. Who the hell would have that? Anyhow, I don't want to go any further. But I should have done a whole critique of that Saturday Night Live episode, what the good skits, the bad skits. I think Eddie Murphy probably had the best. When the Black Jeopardy, he was playing Tracy Morgan. Tracy Morgan was there playing an ordinary Joe. And the other lady from Saturday Night Live was there. But Eddie Murphy was playing Tracy Morgan, and he did pretty good Tracy Morgan impersonation. I was pretty impressed. I mean, it's probably not that hard. I only like 4 cheese lasagna. If it doesn't have 4 cheese, I'm not eating it. You know, pretty much easy Tracy Morgan type stuff. I probably could do it if I practiced it enough. But and then Eddie Murphy later on, they did like a scared straight skit. You know, him and I forget the kid that played in the Nickelodeon show there, the hamburger stuff. Been on Saturday Night Live for like 17, 18 years or whatever. Forget his name. Anyhow, they did a scared straight prison little skit, and they're comparing prison stuff to Harry Potter and the Nutty Professor and Elf. Will Ferrell came in. Kind of very explicit, but probably the 2 funniest skits I've seen all night, actually. But like a good person I love, they said, you know, they've been better off just showing old stuff and talking about it. And, you know, yeah, show some new skits or whatever with some of the current and classic Saturday Night Live members, but showing some of the greatest old skits and maybe a couple of them commenting about it. Now, Dan Aykroyd wasn't there. He was promoting the show itself a couple weeks ago, but he wasn't there, so I'm not sure if he's ill or what's going on with him or just didn't want to travel. Who knows? Well, when I lived in Florida, hold on, let me mute this mic. Got to mute it. Sorry about that one. Duty calls, duty calls. That was a work-related call. I had to take it real quick. Not a call, a voice message. So I had to send a voice message back to one of my employees. Not my employees, but fellow employee. I don't have nobody that I run. Ooh, look at that. Belly's blood. Hey, I made a 15 Cajun bean soup last night and it tasted great. Hey, I better get out this video. We're at 30 minutes already. I give it a grade earlier. You enjoy this beer. You enjoy my thoughts and comments and my knowledge. I have spread the word, the gospel of Shag Dog and Jammer of the Spitter Swallow Beer Review. Take these words and heed my advice. Drink beer. We'll see you on the next one. Homeward bound. Oh.